Bonjour, Kinamagi Nene Ireland Adishnikas, and welcome to the latest episode of our citizenship instruction. This week's episode features questions 56 through 60. The purpose of these videos are to help students master the questions that are used as part of our United States citizenship examinations. The idea being that students who know more about civics will be better prepared to participate in just a few short years. The first question today will be number 56. What group of people was taken to America and sold as slaves? And that answer is Africans. More than 12.5 million Africans were estimated to have been detained and shipped across the Atlantic to both North and South America in putrid conditions that cost many lives and had a very negative impact on the African culture, particularly in West Africa. 57, why did the colonists fight the British? List at least one thing, and two of them mentioned from our source, which is americanhistory.si.edu from the Smithsonian, where there are videos and sections on most questions related to this assessment and tied into our class Padlet. The two listed are self-government and to be free of Britain. Let's watch the first video on that one.
Why did the colonists fight the British? The colonists fought the British because they wanted to be free from Britain. They fought the British because of unfair taxes. They fought because they didn't have self-government. When the American colonies formed, they were part of Britain. Britain increased taxes for colonists on things they bought and used every day, like tea. Many colonists were angry because no one represented their needs in the British government. Colonists believed they did not have self-government. The British forced colonists to allow British soldiers to sleep and eat in their homes. The colonists joined together to fight Britain and gain independence. They fought the War of Independence from 1775 to 1783. The colonies won the war. They created the United States.
So the next question is, who wrote the Declaration of Independence? And that answer is Thomas Jefferson. So let's view the segment on Mr. Jefferson.
Who wrote the Declaration of Independence? Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence. Thomas Jefferson was an important political leader and thinker. He wanted to create a government for the United States that protected individual rights. Thomas Jefferson wrote that the United States was free from Britain. He wrote that all men are created equal. He wrote that everyone has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. He wrote the Declaration of Independence on this desk. The ideas in the Declaration help shape the American government. These ideas are still important today.
And while writing phrases like all men are created equal, it is important to note that Mr. Jefferson did not always apply what he was stating publicly. Mr. Jefferson owned and fathered children with slaves. And I think it's very important that we have the total picture of history and not just the PR version that says, hey, he believes in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that all men are created equal. It's a little more complicated than that. Number 59, when was the Declaration of Independence adopted? and that is on the 4th of July, 1776.
When was the Declaration of Independence adopted? On July 4th, 1776, the colonists adopted the Declaration of Independence. Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence. It said the colonies were free from Great Britain. Representatives from the 13 colonies signed the Declaration. July 4th, 1776 is a special date in American history. It is the day that the United States became an independent country, separate from Britain.
And finally today, there were 13 original states, named 3 of them. So when doing the practice, you will only need to name 1 of, or 3 of, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Delaware, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia.
There were 13 original states. Name 3. The 13 original states were New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. The 13 original states were the first 13 British colonies. British colonists traveled across the Atlantic Ocean from Europe. They came to the east coast of the United States. They founded colonies there. Massachusetts is an original state. In 1620, British colonists landed in Massachusetts. These colonists wanted freedom to practice their religion. Virginia is an original state. British colonists founded Virginia in 1607. Colonists in Virginia grew tobacco on large farms. New York is an original state. The area that is now New York used to be called New Amsterdam. It became the British colony of New York in 1664. Massachusetts, Virginia, and New York are 3 of the 13 original states.
It is important to note that all images that were included were found via a Google search. I do not own the rights to any included images, video, or music, and all are used for an educational purpose. Miigwech for viewing this episode. To practice, please visit this week's Quizlet, and if you just scroll over it, you'll bring up a hyperlink that you can click on and practice there. And also you can practice on any of the previous sets of questions. I hope you've learned a lot in this video. I look forward to seeing your practice and your knowledge grow. Have a minogijigad minwa bamapi.